Well, it is not the only country creating concern in the world. Russia supplying direct military support in Syria. Sources say it is building a joint air-ground force in 2 provinces along the northwest coast. My next guest is retired Gunnery Sergeant Jessie Jane Duff. Jessie, so glad to have you here. If this force develops along these reported lines, if our sources are correct, this could be a game changer in the war. What is in it for Russia?
Well, Russia right now is looking at going in and helping Assad with his battle against ISIS, and also the very forces, the rebel forces that our CIA has been training and supporting, they are trying to defeat to sustain Assad. This is a relationship that has been going on for decades. In fact, a lot of people aren't even aware of it, but there is actually a naval installation that has been in Syria. That's the Russian naval installation, Tartus, and it's been in existence for years. Now they're building an additional base that is going to enable Assad to defeat these people that are against him. Meanwhile, the Syrian people are evacuating in droves, as we've seen throughout Europe.
So what does this mean for the U.S. coalition if it wants to conduct, let's say, an airstrike over western Syria to attack ISIS or any other militants? Will the U.S. be hampered?
This is absolutely a big concern for the Pentagon right now. What it appears is that one of our concerns is that they are bringing in Russian fighter jets, which means that they could encounter American fighter jets in the sky. This obviously would be a huge concern for the U.S. because are we going to be fighting against each other eventually? Is that where this is going? For Russia to team up with Assad is not the way to go about defeating ISIS. We welcome the defeat of ISIS, but what they're doing is trying to defend Assad, who admitted back in July that he was actually losing this battle in his own civil war.
So let me ask you this, Sergeant. I mean, as we've seen with Russia's actions in Crimea and Ukraine, once a presence is established, it's very difficult to remove without an outright war. But what you just described sounds like a proxy war.
Oh, well, essentially, they're going to send over approximately, we're looking at housing being built right now for about 1,500 troops. They're sending in tanks. They're sending in the aircraft. What we're looking at is going to be, all right, Assad, empowering Assad to defeat our actions, everything that we have done. And with that said, keep in mind, just a year ago, the president clearly stated that he did not have a strategy against ISIS or in Syria. No strategy in Syria. Well, now it's coming home to roost.
Okay, as far as Syria, last question here, Sergeant, does this demand that the U.S. take a bigger role? I heard what you said, that the president so far has now outlined a specific strategy, but it seems like the clock is ticking.
Oh, absolutely. We do not have enough support, obviously, to go against Russian forces, including trying to defeat Assad. We are now going to be in a predicament of where do we go from here, because what they're going to do is try to decimate the Syrian forces that have been working closely with our own CIA. Are they going to shoot down our own aircraft, our own fighter jets when they're flying above? Because essentially, we are not there to defend Assad. We have been trying to remove Assad. So it's definitely a conflict for the United States all the way around.
We'll be checking in with you again shortly, no doubt. Thank you in the meantime for the time. Retired Gunnery Sergeant joining me there, Jessie Jane Duff. I'm glad to have you here.